What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Poker Vlog. It is Wednesday, September the 13th, and we are back at South Point. Just arrived. I am in the parking garage, if you couldn't tell already. And we're about to jump into the 1-2 streets, maybe the 2-3 streets. We'll see what the games look like when we get in there. Let's see, what other updates do I have for you? I am now on a fitness journey. So, started yesterday. I am on a clean eating diet. I'm starting to exercise again. I've got 50 pounds to lose. That is 50 pounds to lose. That's the goal. So, we will be documenting the fitness journey on the Poker Vlog. So, stay tuned for that. I will update you guys weekly on how I'm doing there in terms of my weight loss goals. And I think that's about it. So we're going to get into the 1-2 streets, maybe the 2-3 streets. I'll see you at the table. All right, first playable hand we pick up for the session, pocket nines in the cutoff. We've got a limper under the gun. Folds to us, and I decide to make it 10 to go. Folds back to the under the gun limper, who decides to go ahead and put in the call. So we are going to go heads up here to a flop. Now, when players at 1-2 limp call under the gun, I put them on a range of hands like middling and small pocket pairs. Hands like deuces through sixes will often limp call. Maybe even a hand like pocket sevens will limp call under the gun. I think they can also have a lot of Broadway holdings like queen 10, jack 10, king queen, king jack. Hands even like ace jack offsuit will often limp call under the gun as well. So I'm keeping that range in mind as we go to the flop. And we see a flop of jack 10-8, giving us an open-ended straight draw. Player under the gun checks, and we make a mistake here and check this back. I think we should be betting. As played, we see the ace of clubs on the turn. Goes check, check again. And we see the queen of spades on the river, giving us the straight. When the player bets 20, we go ahead and call, but unfortunately, we end up losing to king jack offsuit here. Trying to give you guys a realistic idea of what these 1-2 games are like. I've got ace queen under the gun +1. I make it 15 to go. These tables are either usually really loose or super tight. This one starts off being super tight. Everyone folds and we take this down with no resistance. Probably going to get some hate in the comments for this, but I've been doing some studying and they suggest including some middle and small pocket pairs in your limping range. So we're in middle position and I'm experimenting with that limping range. I decide to just go ahead and put in the $2 for our pocket eights. The low jack decides to make it 15. Big blind calls 15 and I call 15. So we're going to go three ways here to a flop. Flop comes down ace jack 5 with 2 clubs. So on this flop, I pick up a physical tell on our opponent on the big blind. I don't normally put too much credit on physical tells in live poker. I think sometimes they can be misleading as to whether or not they're strength or weakness. In this particular case, though, I felt like it leaned more towards strength. He seemed very interested in betting this flop. The way that he looked at the board also really lent itself to having a strong hand. So I'm not continuing on this board with my pocket eights regardless, but I think it's good information to keep in our back pocket for future hands. So the big blind eventually decides to check. We go ahead and put in the check here as well. The original raiser decides to put in a continuation bet here of about half pot, $20. And now the big blind does put the check raise into motion. So that's what he was contemplating on the flop. He makes it 80 to go. and we quickly decide to get out of the way here and fold our hand. All right, in this one we've got ace jack of diamonds under the gun. I go ahead and make it 15 to go. Been experimenting with some larger bet sizing pre-flop. This gets everybody to fold except for the big blind, who was just recently stacked in the previous hand for $100. So he's rebuying for another $100. He makes the call. We go to a flop. We see 6-3-5 rainbow. Big blind checks. I think I could continue here, but in the moment I decide to check back, and we see the 4 of diamonds on the turn, giving us the nut flush draw and 2 overs. Now the big blind decides to go ahead and put in a $20 bet here on this turn card. I don't see any reason to raise here, so I think I can just profitably call and try to hit one of our overs or a diamond. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. We see the 3 of clubs peel off on the river. The chip runner has now brought over this player's new stack of $100. So he's going to go ahead and match out what he owes for the hand here. He's going to put those chips in. Dealer's going to go ahead and pull those in, and now he's going to go ahead and make a decision. He puts in 35, and we quickly fold here on this river. All right, this next hand is the definition of a hand that plays itself. We've got 2 black aces on the button. We go ahead and raise this up to 10. There's a limper in the cutoff. Everyone else folds, and the limper decides to just jam in his remaining $92. We snap call, can't get in there fast enough. Love to see the short stack just go ahead and put it all in, especially when you have pocket aces. So we've got about $180 in the middle, and we are going to go to a run out, hoping for a clean run out, obviously, and we see queen 6-4. Looks pretty safe. King of clubs, king of diamonds isn't too great, but when he turns over 2 red 10s, our pocket aces here are going to hold, and we're going to take down this $184 pot. All right, we've got the speed limit hand, pocket 5s. Limp it in under the gun. We end up getting 4 other limpers in the pot, so we're going to end up going 5 ways here to a flop. Flop is going to come down pretty good for our hand, I would say. We see 8-7-5 with 2 clubs, giving us bottom set on a very connected, very dynamic board. I think we want to start betting this right away. I want to start building a pot, and I want to get value while I'm ahead of any 2-pair or top pair holdings. So I put in 10 big US dollars, and only the big blind decides to put in the call. So we're going to go heads up here to the turn. Turn card is pretty safe for us. It's the queen of hearts. Big blind decides to check here again, and I decide to check back. I'm not sure why I did this in the moment. I must have had some sort of reasoning, but I feel like we should be value betting there on the turn. As played, we see the ace of hearts on the river. Big blind decides to go ahead and check again. Definitely going to be value betting this river. I think we can get called by a lot of 2-pair holdings that we are ahead of, but unfortunately he folds really quickly, but we win this small pot with our set of 5s. All right, this is another one that pretty much plays itself, but what happens after the hand is pretty interesting, so stay tuned for that. We've got pocket kings in the big blind. Got an open raise to 15 from the hijack, who's got an effective stack of about $125. Folds to us. We're going to be putting in the 3-bet. Given the stack depth here, I'm just going to make a standard 3x sizing for my 3-bet. I go to $45. The hijack does not think too long at all here before going ahead and just ripping in the remaining amount. Obviously, we're never folding, so I snap call here, and we are going to go heads up to a flop. Flop is going to be pretty good for us. We see top set on a king 8-7 board with 2 clubs. The 6 of hearts and the 4 of spades look pretty safe to me, so I turn over king. Top set here. Our opponent says you hit the case king. He ends up turning over king, queen off suit. So we were way ahead there. Didn't really need the top set, but it never hurts, right? So I lift up my camera here just to get an image of the board so I don't forget what the run out is. And this is what leads to what transpires after this hand. The player starts to give me the third degree about filming here, and eventually the floor gets called. So I'm just going to run the audio on this, and you guys can get a sense of what happened after this hand. Case king came. Wow. Not that I needed it, I'm still ahead.
So when you video the play, is that what you're doing?
Yeah, yes sir. I vlog.
Raise $8.
So you just video the hand or you video us?
The hand. Just the hand.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't video. If I get faces, I blur it out.
$8 is the bet.
I fold.
And what if we don't feel calm? How do I know that's not video with me?
I need a floor on 22, please.
We're about to find out.
So as you heard, he was asking about me filming the hand, and then he said, I don't feel comfortable with that. And that's when the dealer immediately called the floor. So the floor is on their way over. The player keeps making inquiries about this while the floor is on their way. I'm going to let the audio play again. Once the floor comes over, they make a ruling, and then things continue to get a little weird after that. So stay tuned.
I need a floor on 22, please.
We're about to find out.
You're about to find out.
Yeah, I just want to know.
Floor on 22.
Look at hand. It's angled down. Well, it doesn't look like an angle down. Okay, we'll come look
You
at the
can come
screen.
look. You can't see anything. All you can see is the table.
I mean, these wide angles, every angle.
Guys, we'll have a floor come clear up in just a second, okay? Let's just move on to the hand, okay? I promise I got a floor on right now.
None of your shoe, bud.
No, it's not personal.
It's not. Just so you know.
Michael, you have 2 on 29? All right, great.
As soon as the hand is finished.
Second two players then. Again, Rob, 35, no limit interest.
That's it. 25.
Selby, 35 interest. Selby, yes, thank you. Taylor, 35, no limit interest. Taylor. Eugene, 35, no limit interest.
You had the kings that time?
Eugene.
King 10. Oh, flush.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
AA, 35, no limit interest. Double A, AA.
They can fill the cards, the actual table, players' faces without being involved.
How do we know that?
What else?
How do we know that? His camera's there, and I don't know if he's facing me, wide angle. I don't know if I'm doing. I don't like.
Make out,
Come look.
35, no
I don't
limit
feel
interest.
comfortable. You can look, but I'm not going to monitor you 24 hours, right? I'm not going to be doing that.
That's what I film.
Yeah,
It's
but
good. He's good.
But we don't know. I don't know if he's doing that 24
He's
hours.
good. I'm saying he's good. I'll put it on the table.
Yeah, I look at the table. Yeah, I requested the table.
Okay.
So you do that.
He's good.
You can deal with me out.
Jermaine, 35, no limit interest. Jermaine.
To me, $10. All right, so as you heard, he requested a table change. I think that's completely reasonable. If you're not comfortable with someone filming at the table or you don't want to be caught on camera, I think a table change makes sense. But what happens next, I was unaware of in the moment. So I am in a hand, as you can see, I've raised to $10 here on the button with King 10 offsuit. The player got up and was behind me as I was playing the hand. I thought he had just come over to see how I was filming and get a sense of what was being captured on the camera. But apparently he was looking at me with some ill intent. So the dealer gets very nervous that this is going to escalate, and you're going to hear the dealer call the floor again with quite a bit of urgency here. Again, I was unaware of this until after this hand.
I need a floor on
Kyle,
22,
35,
please.
no limit interest. Kyle.
I need a floor on table 22, please.
Why'd you call, Rob? Seven hands. Actually, I should have 3-bet.
You should have 3-bet me if you got a
I was
hand.
distracted. I was distracted.
All right. I got to make it 14.
John, you're 1 on 14.
14 bucks.
And Kyle, 3-5 on the
But
picture.
the question is, would you call the 3-bet?
No.
Yeah, well, I didn't know really.
Yeah.
I honestly was distracted. I locked it up to ready to shove this guy in the door.
That would go to 14.
Thank you.
So thankfully nothing too serious happened. The player went back to his seat and the floor came over again and immediately gave him a table change. This is the first time I've ever experienced any real negative reaction to me filming at the table. Usually people are pretty interested and pretty agreeable to it, but I think in the future I have to be a little bit cautious and a little bit extra diligent about when I'm filming and how I'm filming, just so people don't get uncomfortable with it while we're playing. All right, now that that's behind us, we've got pocket 10s in the under the gun position. We go ahead and raise this up to 10. Ends up folding around. I thought the big blind might come along here for a little fun, but unfortunately they fold and we take this one down uncontested. All right, last hand of the session. We've got 9 to 7 of spades. We are on the button. We've got a limper in the cutoff. I go ahead and raise this up to 10. Everyone else gets out of the way, but the limper decides they want to put in the extra money here and see a flop. So they call the $10, and we are going to go heads up here to a flop. Flop comes down 6-5-6 with 2 hearts, giving us a straight draw and a backdoor flush draw and 2 overs. Goes check, check, and we hit our straight on the turn, although it's not the best straight when the front door flush comes in. But I bet 15, he quickly folds, and we win this hand to end the night. All right, 3 days later, a haircut and a wardrobe change, and I'm doing the outro for this video. The original outro that I recorded, the audio quality was pretty spotty to say the least, so for all of your listening pleasure and viewing pleasure, I wanted to redo the outro to make it more enjoyable for all of you. The session ended up, we were out of the game for, we were in the game for 400. We were out of the game for, I believe, 516 for a profit of $116. I'll put the totals up here. So we won a little bit back from what we lost in our previous session. No complaints about that. The situation with the pocket kings hand was interesting. That's the first time that I've had somebody get upset that I was filming at the table. Although I would argue, or I think he was probably more upset that he just lost the hand and the vlogging was an excuse to be angry rather than be angry about the hand, right? So, yeah, interesting situation. Most people are pretty agreeable to the vlogging, and they actually just want to know what the channel is and how they can watch, so that if they make the vlog, they can watch themselves on the vlog. So this is the first time where I've had the opposite, where they were upset that they were being filmed. So anyway, no hard feelings. Hope he does well, and good luck to him at the tables. I think overall the game wasn't that great. It was pretty tight, passive, and there wasn't a lot of really good action players at the table. The only action players that were really at the table were short stacked, so as you saw, you know, $100 stacks, and that's a hard way to really make a huge profit when you're playing up against a lot of short stacks. So yeah, not the best game in the world. In the future, I think I have to look for better tables and better spots to see if I can't get into some better situations and have a better edge. So, yeah, I think it was not the best game. We did end up with a little bit of a profit. That's going to end it for episode 19. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for all of your support. If you did enjoy the episode, please do hit that thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes, and share this with your family, friends, coworkers, anyone you think who would enjoy poker-related content. Share it with them so that we can get more traction on the community here on the vlog. Thank you all so much again for all the support. If you have any questions for me, leave it in the comments below. I will get back to you. Thank you all for your feedback and hand analysis in the comments as of lately. They are very helpful. So appreciate all the support. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, be well. Good luck at the tables.